There are three massive super cycles of innovation happening right now.
Mm.
And usually a super cycle of innovation happens like one at a time, like the printing press, internet, smartphone. A super cycle comes along, a technology unlocks this wave of innovation that really changes up our markets and also our day-to-day lives. And right now we have three. One is AI. The second is human and technology interfaces like Whoop bands, Neuralink, the just sheer data that we have about the human experience and the ways we are interweaving technology with our biological lives. And then the third is well-being science. A part of that is biotechnology, but another part is just the massive amounts of behavior science that we've unlocked through the last few decades that we are just now beginning to really implement.
Mm.
And the thing with super cycles of innovation is they lead to massive waves forward, but they also create tsunamis that crush certain institutions and organizations and change up people's lifestyles in meaningful ways. And so the question becomes, well, what's going to happen with these super cycles? And in the short term, there are three big challenges that are going to happen. One is centralization of wealth and concentration of power. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Oracle, Snowflake are going to become the biggest, most influential companies on the planet, along with NVIDIA. But particularly those five, because they run the cloud services infrastructure, which is the energy for all of this AI and all of crypto
Mhm.
and all of our software. That all of that requires energy. And what's relevant about that is those companies own nearly half of all other AI companies. So that would be like the five biggest gasoline companies owning 50% of all car manufacturing companies.
Hmm.
That's a lot of power. We wouldn't allow something like that. We would say that there's massive anti-competitiveness and antitrust challenges there, and then the implications on our politics and societal systems, that's a challenge. The other
Mm.
big challenge is rise of disinformation, misinformation, fraud, cybersecurity attack, which dissolves people's sense of safety, which dissolves our ability to have access to shared truth, where then we can feel like we have some structure to understanding our reality. So that increases the stress people are going to experience and increases in loneliness, disorder, and deaths of despair, which we've seen increasing through the last decade and the last 2 or 3 years, especially. And we're going to continue to see increasing. And so, with
Mm.
all of that happening, that can seem really doom and gloom. And there's key treasures within those super cycles that that show us there's a huge opportunity right now, which is our core drive as human beings is to connect and belong. And so all that any business is a collection of people that are collaborating to create value to transfer to another collection of people. And what we've learned through the behavior science is that the ways that we structure how people communicate and collaborate matter. You can
Mm.
structure collaboration in ways that burn people out and exhaust them and degenerate their well-being by creating chronic stress in their experience. And you can create collaboration processes and just ways of relating with people that are regulating, because there's nothing more regulating for a human being's nervous system than the presence of another human being's nervous system who they trust. So the most impressive organizations through all of history that have done amazing productive things for sustained periods of time, meaning not just a short burst, but sustainably perform
Mm.
at a high level, they do something unique, which is they structure how they operate intentionally with certain principles. And those principles include three key components. One is purpose. They're able to communicate the purpose of what they do, and they understand what matters to the people that are connected to collaborating to do that stuff. And so everyone can feel like they can care about what they're working on and they feel cared about.
Mm.
The second are processes that empower sustained performance, meaning we enhance people's ability to regulate stress. And the key to creating those processes is one, understanding what matters to people, um, two, understanding what people need. And in order to get those two things, what you need are the third pillar, which is people skills that build trust.
Mm,
And so understanding the core behaviors that build trust, understanding the actions that degenerate trust are crucial. And ultimately, like you could break it down into the framework we like to use, which is Brene Brown's braving framework as specific behaviors. You could break it down into that model. I think it's Z and Ferris, where it's basically three pillars of trust, which is authenticity, empathy, and competence, which is, do I believe I'm experiencing the real you? Do I feel cared about? And do I believe that you can do the stuff that I need to rely on you to do?
mm,
And so building the skills and systems that enhance leaders' capabilities to do those things, to be real, to help people feel cared about, to help people feel competent in what they're doing, then unlocks this massive superpower, which is now you can have open and reliable flows of information about what people care about and what they need while you try to accomplish meaningful stuff within your business. And so
mm,
by designing trust within how we operate one on one or as a team or as a business, instead of actually adding more work to your plate by like taking time to pause and evaluate how you're communicating, by building up those skills to really evaluate your organizational culture and think about these principles and how you weave them into the day-to-day operations of what you're doing and how your teams are operating, what you end up doing is unlocking exponential, sustainable, regenerative performance. Where now, instead of people burning out and your business becoming fractured or stagnating, and you constantly having to hire consultants or figure out ways to do more surveys or do a bunch of layoffs and then go in and figure out, now that we've shrunk, how do we now make things more efficient? Instead, when you build trust into the design of how you operate, you can more dynamically scale and grow and sustainably perform. And the magic within all of that is the other thing you can do is you can actually regenerate the well-being of the people that you work with,
mm.
which is crucial because we've never been so unwell as a group of people. And so like that's how all of these things really come together.
I feel like that should be a chapter in empowered well-being theory. It is.
Amen. Amen.
Life OS. Wow. Again, I mean, I just imagine a world where people have these resources and this expanded capacity to trust each other and relate in a totally different way. And it's much easier, by the way. It's such an easier way of being together when there's that inherent trust as the foundation underlying all of our collaboration, all of our conversation. It's much more efficient. It's like the ultimate, efficiency play for building anything, for, building a business. And I love the way that you articulate that. And yeah, it just feels very affirming for why we're doing what we're doing and how great this need is right now. It's like now is the time.